So here I've got the same motion sensor as before. It's going to be reflecting off the same textbooks as before. But what's different about them is they're being pulled by this string, which goes over to this pulley, and it's pulled down by a falling weight. And unlike before, when I gave them a push and they kind of coasted at constant velocity, this falling weight is going to keep pulling them. So we're going to run the experiment again, and we're going to see how that makes the data different. That continuous pull, we expect to be continuously affecting the motion. We'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to start Data Studio. I'm going to pull this textbook out of the way. And that made kind of a mess. But we'll take a look at what that data looks like. So if we look, we've got a few regions of this graph. We've got the beginning, which is times passing, distance is not changing. That's before I let it go. We then have a curve, and then we have a straight line region. And then we get this, which is clearly after the thing fell off the table and took the fan out. But these regions here, I think, are the most interesting. Let's zoom in and take a look at what they're telling us. So, zooming in just a little bit, go in just a little bit more. As you can see, there's a curve. So the slope is getting steeper. That implies that there's an acceleration. The curve seems to level off though, and that becomes a straight line before we have our table hitting event. And that roughly corresponds to where the weight hit the floor, because at that point the cart was just coasting. So what we're going to be most interested in is the region where we're ramping up from zero slope, getting steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper, until we get to this roughly constant slope here. That's the part where we're speeding up. And that's the data we're going to be looking at on our next spreadsheet. So when I first look at the data, I basically see a constant 0.153, 0.152. That has to do with when it's just sitting still towards the beginning. So we'll look at 0.153 as being our original position. And we're most interested in the times directly after this, when the cart is actually accelerating. So these are the data points I want to use. And I suspect we'll see that as we graph them, there's a leveling off of slope. There are other points beyond that, but we're most interested in the part when the weight is still pulling on it. So I think these are the points we should base our next motion on. So I'll take a picture of them, and you'll use that to put it into your next spreadsheet.